of people are very fired up to have our guest on tonight. So Chelsea Miller is no stranger to the industry. She came in and watched her parents build not just in Isagenix, but they have built before in this industry. Not only are they superb network marketers who still earn residuals throughout the industry, but also she watched her parents both as these incredible entrepreneurs, building traditional businesses, seeing big vision, becoming real students of business. Chelsea goes on as this young woman to the #1 school for entrepreneurship in the country. My uncle actually went to the school, Babson. The Babson is one of the top business schools in the whole country. Truly remarkable. I remember being so in awe of my uncle when I was growing up and knowing he went to Babson, what a big deal it was. It's the #1 school for entrepreneurship. And here comes this absolute Spitfire knockout, basically a supermodel, comes out, and she literally takes a look at Isagenix and could have done anything. I mean, with a degree from Babson and entrepreneurship, you're writing your absolute ticket. Any startup in the country wants you at the very top of their list. And so instead, Chelsea comes into Isagenix and decides that she's going to create this wave of momentum. And momentum she's created. If you've seen some of what she's doing, she's a 5-star golden circle in the company and a START ambassador. But the biggest headline about what she's doing is depth and duplication. I want you to hear this bullet point. She has, in the last 6 months, added $120,000 to her income. If anybody's interested in adding 6 figures in the next 6 months to your income, she's grown her business 185 cycles a month and more. And here's the thing. She's barely gotten started. She's not done. And so Chelsea, without further ado, let me let you come into this conversation and really just give people a look. I think we could start with just jumping off point. You're looking to this industry and what made you decide to take Isagenix and just run to the moon?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because when I first got started, back in the day when we had Travis Garza around, I remember I was at Top Achievers. I was 24 at the time. And he said to me, you know, you have this top degree, why this? And I was like, why not this? Like, you don't have to be in a bad place to know this is a really, really good idea. I actually had an incredible conversation with a prospect today who is very influential, has like many yoga studios underneath them. And I had the conversation with him and I said, it's so funny because what is attracted to our industry, because there is no startup, because the cost of entry is so low, there's a huge attraction to our industry of the story of I came from nothing and I created everything, which is one of the best parts about our industry. But one of the funniest things about it is that people who are already successful in their life tend to poo-poo it, tend to overlook it. And I had the conversation with him. I was like, there is nothing smarter financially. Nothing smarter than a network marketing model. It is I looked at my life and I was like, where else could I start at 21 with zero basically startup cost, be able to learn while I grow and build a multiple 6 to eventual 7-figure residual income in my 20s. There just isn't another opportunity for that. And so my vision is that so many people start to understand that this isn't just for those that needed it. It's also for those who just see how brilliant it is.
I love that. And I think it's so true. And so you're 24 years old. Is that really did you already have a position in the company?
So I got my position at 18. My mom, I always wanted to do network marketing. This is one of the things that most people don't know about me is that I actually convinced my high school principal to allow me to do an independent study in network marketing. And I used to review compensation plans. And this was before my parents were in Isagenix. My parents had been out of the industry for a bit, but I was obsessed with the industry because if anyone else can relate to getting talks too much in class, I was like, if I can talk for a living, travel all over the world and make like residual income, that's for me. I was obsessed with it, but I got my position at 18. As soon as my mom joined, I went out to the NYKO with her at 18, but I didn't start building till I was 21.
Okay. So you start building at 21 and then you've kind of built this reputation that you've catalyzed young people. But now at this stage of your life, how long have you been in the company?
I've been with the company as a customer for 10 years and as a business builder for going on 8 this summer.
Okay. So you're 28 years old at this point, 29 years old. And
Mhm.
so despite the fact that you just have this timeless look where I just feel like, oh my gosh, you're still look like you could be in college.
Mhm.
You're now like this established professional having
Mhm.
totally different kinds of conversations with people and seeing this differently. I'd love to hear just who are you looking for in this industry? Because the people that you're not, I think there's a perception in this company that you're talking to people who are 21, 22, 23. That's not who you're building with.
No, I don't want to work with anyone under the age of 25, to be completely honest, because I did it and that grind was hard. When I was building at 22, 23, 24, you have a lot of kids that are, they have the microwave mentality. They don't have a lot of working capital. It's, they're easily distracted and they don't have a big enough why. So it's not to dismiss somebody that age, because I got started at that age and there are the superstars that get started at that age, but the typical kid under the age of 25, it's just usually not the right timing. And the biggest reason I say for that is like, there has to be a strong desire. So usually if there is going to be one, it's because they started a family young. I have not started a family yet, right? So I don't have young families in my organization at all. Mostly what I work with is 28, 29, 30, 40, 50-year-olds. And I've been doing that since when I first started. When I actually launched my business at 22, my number one and number two business builder were 40 and 50. So I never really I had some young team, but mostly I've always worked with more established women because I find that their desire and their commitment levels are larger.
And so I really do find that they're definitely, and we know that you are a unicorn. You are that person who at a young age had hustle and grind. We have them on this team, absolutely, hands down. But I think that you've found that people with that burning desire to change their position in life who really relate to you, maybe in a different demographic.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the vision that you're casting for these people. So you talked about convincing your principal about this independent study because you like to talk and travel and earn money. Talk about that. So that was the vision casting that you had perceived from seeing your parents. What's now?
Yeah.
What are you talking to people about now?
So, we've always said with Isagenix, we have so many different opportunities of what we can share. We have weight loss, we have weight gain, we have now we have biohacking, we have collagen, we have beauty, we have everything. And what I find is that then we'll talk about how our compensation plan is the best thing that we can offer. And yet I find so many shy away from really selling our compensation plan. And I will tell you, over the last 2.5 years, where we've really had the most amount of growth on my team, we sell our comp plan day in and day out, over and over and over again. And we sell the front end of the compensation plan and we sell the back end of the compensation plan. And so what that means is we would look at how you could make money up front. One of the programs we had on our team was make 20K in 6 months. And we were just taking the pools and we were packaging it no different than you package, look younger while you turn 30 or lose weight at 50. It's just a packaging and a marketing strategy, right? And so as we're going into the new year and we have some really fun upfront bonuses that are going to be available for us, I'm already starting to think, how can I package that upfront money? And so we really talk about on our team, talking about the money, sharing with people, hey, there's an opportunity to make some upfront money here. But then we also talk about residual, leveraged income, why we're different than MLM. Every single person on my team within their first week has gotten the pitch of the difference between MLM and network marketing, because it matters so deeply to me that they understand the power of the team build and how important it is that we stack people. And we talk about urgency and how when you get a spot on the team, you're going to have other customers that are going on to you immediately. And that really creates a level of, I think what we've created on our team right now is momentum because of that urgency. Like when we get on a team call, when we get on an opportunity call, we literally drop the link before we even start the opportunity call. Cause we're like, before we start, some of you are going to try to squeeze in and get your order in before other people, because it's going to matter. And let's show you what the compensation plan looks like. And we really cast that vision of creating a business that could free you from financial stress. What does it look like for you? How much money do you need to earn? And I would say 90% of my time is spent doing that, spent talking to people about that. We are going into a time in the world where people don't just want money, they need money. We have an incredible amount of increase in costs. And then we have people who are losing their jobs like crazy, or they're not able to stay up to with their expenses. And so it's one of those things where what we have to offer right now is so needed. And going back to you asking, like, what do I look for? I look for what we see when you go to an event. When you're at network marketing event, when you're at Isagenix, you hear people say, I needed this. I was broken. I needed a change in my life. And that's what I look for in people, the people that have a burning desire to make a change in their life. I always say, there's actually a quote, and Laura Stevens said it, and it was about 5 years ago I heard it, and I have never, ever, ever forgot it. The difference between somebody who is successful here and somebody who is not comes down to one determining factor. The person that is not successful thinks Isagenix is a good idea. The person that's successful believes it's their vehicle to transformation into freedom. There is a million things that is a good idea in this world. It's a good idea to go to the gym. It's a good idea to eat healthy. It's a good idea to stay off your phone before you go to bed. There's so many good ideas, but we don't take action on things because they're a good idea. We take action when we're like, this is my vehicle. This is what's going to get me from point A to point B. And I will rearrange my life for a short period of time to make this happen. And so when I talk to people, I really cast the vision in that way, where I'm like, this is not the end all be all, but this is a vehicle that can get you where you want to go. And some of the most powerful builders on our teams right now are actually women who have their own businesses in the traditional sense, and they are burnt out and not making ends meet. We have a beautiful woman on our team. Her name's Dana, and she joined us in June. And she had a yoga studio that she was basically going under with. She was still a full-time employee. She has 2 kids at home, and she was suffocating for air. And in the last 5 months, she's literally made over $25,000 with Isagenix and has 750 people on her team now. That's insane. But when somebody says, this is my vision, not just this is a good idea, but this is my vision, this is what's going to get me where I need to go for my family, that's when it's a game over.
Okay. I 100% agree. So much to say on what you just shared. So I 100% agree. Show me someone who burns the boats, who says, if it's to be, it's up to me. Watch out. I can tell you for sure they'll be successful. I 100% agree. You also talk about how you've packaged up the financial plan. On this team, it's a humongous thing. We used to teach about 5K in 5 weeks, still do. But I want to really just highlight for you that isn't just a marketing concept. Guys, when you have a target, people know what they can do. I recently had a conversation with someone, I might have mentioned this to you, Chelsea. I wanted to tell you if I didn't already, but I recently had a conversation with someone who's a veteran network marketer, has been at the very tippy top. And one of the things that she said is so frustrating to her in the industry is most people aren't telling people what they need to do next to earn a specific amount of money. You have done that. Our teams have done that. 5K in 5 weeks, $20,000 in 6 months, and showing people a plan. It's not like you have to be running with full-time 40-hour week in time investment. This is all manageable, doable goals. Side note, could you just note for people, because I just got a text someone asking your explanation of MLM, why this is not an MLM.
Yeah, very, very important. An MLM has levels. We have no levels. That is like the biggest differentiating factor, but I draw it out because it makes sense when people see it. I explain to people, I say, look, you either have had multi-level marketing experience, or you know someone who's had multi-level marketing experience, or you're going to go home completely blissfully not aware, and someone's going to try to knock you on your butt telling you about multi-level marketing. So it's better for me to educate you why we're not that now, so that you have some ammo. And this really supports in my retention in the business, because if I give people the understanding in the beginning, nobody can shake their belief. So I go in and I say, look, and I draw it out for them. And my entire team within their first 3 months knows how to draw this out. I show them the first, the circle. And I say, if you were in a traditional MLM, you would build what's called wide. So you would take every person in your life and you would put them what's called frontline to you. And they'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of those people are going to make you money, but none of them are going to contribute to each other. Now they're going to go bring in people as well. And then I draw it out and it goes down in levels. And I'm like, all these people, again, will make you money, but not each other. Now you're in direct competition with everyone in your network. No one's supporting each other. Everyone's competing. No one's compounding. On top of that, all of your sales, that's for you and your upline. You'll never contribute to your downline. You'll never enroll a business builder. And I condense it and I show our comp plan. I go, we are not MLM. I have nothing against it. It's legal. I always say I'm not poo-pooing it, but I am telling you how powerful our compensation plan is. And I said, we build 2 teams. You build one with your upline, and you are literally going to have people placed onto your team, customers, business builders. And I show them how that can grow. And that one creates urgency. People, I've never walked out of a meeting like that where someone's not like, well, at least buy me a lemon essential oil. Like, I've literally been like, I don't have the money right now, but I need a spot. Like, and that's the kind of urgency you want in this business. Like, this business grows on urgency. I think one of the hardest parts about this business is creating momentum, right? And when you don't have urgency, there is no momentum. Our team, we've created momentum out of nothing, right? Where like the company is technically not, quote unquote, wasn't in momentum 2 years ago, but it didn't matter. I put my blinders on and I started telling people we were in momentum. I started acting like we were in momentum. I started speaking life into my business as I was like, if you don't enroll today, someone else is enrolling. And it's a little bit of a vision casting, and it can feel awkward, right? It's that place where you are, being before you see it. But that's no different than faith. That's no different than anything else in our life. You have to claim it, but you have to be certain that you're willing to commit to making it happen. So it is true for the people that you enroll. But what ends up happening is that it's like a snowball, and then it just took life. And it took about a year, I'll say, of like truly speaking life into it. But now it's truly true. I'm like, if you don't get in now, like 15 people will be in by the end of the day, and you're going to miss out on that. And
that every soundbite has so much. I just want to make sure people understand this. So I truly believe that a position on these teams, these fast growing teams, your team, Lauren's team, my team, these teams of these leaders across our organization, a position, meaning you're just a customer, is like having a lot oceanfront anywhere in America. That your oceanfront lot, it's like property, it's like real estate. And you may not want to capitalize on it today, but you better believe that someday it could be an unbelievable income producing asset like you've never seen before. And so I so agree. And that languaging of creating urgency, let's just talk about that. And you're telling people, everyone who comes on after you will benefit you, whether you enroll them, I enroll them, someone in between us enrolls them, someone who shares this team leg with us, strangers to you. They get started after you, they benefit you financially. And I always say to people, for anyone on this call, and this is a compensation plan where 2/3 of our income is built with other people above you, below you, strangers. It's like nothing people in network marketing's head spin around when they see this comp plan. And frankly, I want to just comment on what you said. I talk to network marketers every day who go, what's crazy when I mean, if you see my office full of whiteboards, I'm drawing the comp plan out at least 3 times a day for people. People say, what's crazy about Isagenix is that's the greatest comp plan I've ever seen. Just you drawing this out. I can't believe it. And no one's really talking about the comp plan. Lots of companies who have inferior compensation plans are out selling theirs all day long. And when people that understand them, people like you, people like me who understand comp plans, like, wait a second, we should have every person knowing why this one is so powerful. Okay. So one of the things that has allowed you to grow your income so substantially, to have a 6-figure jump in less than 6 months, is depth and duplication. The momentum that you're speaking into your team that you've been talking about. By the way, we've done the exact same thing. We told people we'd have the fastest growing team in Isagenix long before we ever did. And we keep speaking that out. We'll continue to have the fastest growing team, or one of them. You're coming for us if you haven't already passed us, but we're here for it, Chelsea. I want to run beside you. So we keep saying that to people just as vision casting. So I love that. But besides that, it's depth and duplication. Will you first explain to people what those 2 concepts mean to you? Yes. And then talk about how you've grown them.
So we have a compensation plan that's so beautiful because it allows for infinite depth. And yet 95% of people in our company are focused on the linear aspect. You're staying so shallow in the business. And that's where the missing link between your income probably is. And so when I first joined, one of my mom first told me, she goes, drive your business deep. Here's what I will tell you. What I noticed is that a leader who has a lot of people that make them successful is typically in a more fragile business than a leader that has a few people on top of a few people on top of a few people on top of a few people, because that's where you get strength, because everyone is secure. That if you have only a shallow, if you're looking and it's like, okay, everything's all about making me successful and everyone's making a little bit, then you're going to be in a position where the people that are just making a little bit are eventually going to get frustrated. They're going to get burnt out and they're going to feel like their visions aren't coming to life. I tell people all the time, we work so hard to recruit a builder. Don't leave them be once you recruit them. Make sure that you take them all the way. Now, of course, you can't drag people. You can't make people do the things that they don't want to do, but you can help support them in getting paid as fast as possible. And that's why I believe the upfront money is so important, because Eric Worre said, if you want to keep a builder, get them paid, make a friend and have them have results with the products. I was like, great, products do itself, bring them to an event. My job is making sure they get paid. And the amount of money that they can get paid as fast as possible will be, for me, the amount of excitement that they can create and the story that they get to tell other people. And so when we bring people on, one, we focus on their paycheck. We really, really focus on their paycheck. And then, but we immediately explain to them, the next thing you're going to do is find somebody else to get paid and find somebody else to get paid and find somebody else to get paid. And so what we would really focus on is, as soon as somebody hit exec, it was, how many managers do you have? How many directors do you have? How many people are playing in the pools this month? And that's what we would focus on, so that they understood that this is a business of helping other people grow. We don't go to exec and then keep creating consultants and then keep enrolling people. We go to exec and we find builders and then we help them go exec and then we help them. And we really focus on PET depth, and we talk about it a lot on our team. We were just celebrating. This was actually, I created a exec in my 5 PET. That was my deepest executive so far. That was yesterday. And so we celebrate that. And so our team really thinks about not it always being, not even like, I don't even care how many executives I have. I'm more proud of how deep my executives go. Because the other thing that I notice is, if you go to an event by yourself, or if you go to an event with 5 people, you will probably have less success than if you go to an event with 5 people, but it's one over another, over another, over another. Meaning I brought one who brought one, who brought one, who brought one. And the reason for that is that there is a level of belief that comes when you feel like you have your own running partner. So if you have 5 running partners, but they don't have their running partner, they're going to feel more in like their feeling of security is going to be like, oh my God, this is still all up to me. And so we really talk about that. And one of the things we talk about with NYKO coming up is like, NYKO is so important for you to bring people and for your people to bring people, and really being strategic about not just bringing numbers, but where are they in your organization? Are you driving deeper? Are you just getting people to show up that probably aren't even the right people to be there? Because sometimes we're just like, I'll bring anyone. I am like somebody who has brought people that I'm like, I really should not have brought them. I didn't convince my sorority sister to come. I was like, you don't even need to buy Isagenix, just come up. Because I just wanted a person in the room, right? But now we focus on like that depth and the duplication. So it's like, okay, you went manager, you went director, you went executive, now teach someone to do that. That's your next goal. I don't need you to go make 10 more consultants. I need you to go make a manager now and a director. So we really, really push that. And we focus on how much money you're getting paid, but then they're getting paid.
Okay, putting a pin in this really quickly. We've got NYKO coming up. It is sold out, but there will be tickets. That's absolutely assured. We know that people sell tickets at the last minute because they realize they can't come, or they've overbought, or they look in their back office and they have a plethora of them. So what you're saying is, I mean, truly, I've watched people, and I've done the same thing as you. I've bought people where I'm like, I don't even think they even could spell Isagenix, just come for the fun. They actually walk in the room, and a lot of people who in a million years, I went to NYKO 9 years ago, like as a favor to someone, and I walked out and was like, get out of the way, watch out. And I have to say, get people in that room, and that's a big deal. But what you're saying is, you want as many people that are your people to come, and you want every one of them, you want to help them bring a friend. Who's coming with you? Who's going to run with you? And then that person, who's going to run with you? Can your sister come? Can your best friend come? Let's get people there. You're going to have a kick-ass party. You're going to have so much fun. Are you part of the celebrity party that we're doing? Awesome. Of course you are. And your mom and dad are too. So I love that. So anybody who's coming with us, and we're all co-hosting as leaders this incredible event that is a red carpet bash. It's going to be so, even if you just come for that, it's going to be so fun, but you can't walk out of there not going, I could do this. I'm equipped. I could do it. Okay. So getting people to events, then the duplication and depth, and really, how do you show people that? How do you show them with the value of getting their people to executive?
So I did the math. I'm very much a numbers person.
Yeah.
I did the math and I figured out that for every executive in your inside leg, if you have a built out one, and if you don't have, it's going to be 2 to 1. But for one executive in your inside leg, it's $30,000 in residual income to you a year. I couldn't redo the math for you, but I did it out and it works. Every single time, I've never seen it failed. Most of you could probably go home and like count up your executives and figure out, and it probably is going to equal out your income if they're paid as executive. So we really focus on that. So I tell people, I'm like, if you are an executive, you're looking at $25,000 a year minimum. If you are paid as executive and you're in the pools, why? You make $750 a month, $750 $1,000, that's $10,000 for the executive lifestyle bonus. If you get a minimum of 40 points, which means that you're doing the bare minimum in your business, you're enrolling 2 people and making 1 consultant, and you're staying active, like you're going to hit 40 points. Usually it's around $1,200 to $1,500. Typically, that's $2,000 a month. That's $2,400. And that's not including cycles. So I tell people, I'm like, look, if you can get to executive and you can manage your executiveship for the year, and that's all you focus on and just pay in the pools every single month, you're looking at a $24,000, $25,000 raise without cycles, which we know you'd have to be cycling to do that. Right. So that's huge. So I talk to people about that. I really share, like, this is amazing money that you can guarantee is in your pocket. Right. And a $25,000 raise for a lot of people is huge. And it's to manage 30 positions, 10 times 2. Then if you can find 1 executive in your inside leg, if you have a team leg, and if you don't, it's 2 on your outside and 1 on your inside, that's $30,000 a year in residual income. The reason why my income went up 120,000 is because we created 4 execs 4 months ago. This week, we created 5 more execs this week in my inside leg. I anticipate my income going up another 160,000 or whatever that math comes out to 5 times 30. Because why? Then you can guarantee if someone's a paid as executive, that's somebody that's managing an Isagenix business. They're not just selling here and there. They're managing 30 positions. They're selling the product at least to 2 people a month. They're making a new consultant at minimum a month, and they're running their business. And that's income guaranteed in your downline. So you're guaranteeing them income and yourself. And so we really focus on that, and they know their numbers and they get really excited to create that. But the other thing that we really do is every Monday, as a team, we go through the global leader in action formula and the report. And we go through it, and I make each and every one of them, like, how many people do you have that are in the manager pools? How many people do you have that are in the director pools? Where do they need a point? What's happening here? And so I'm able to track, we look as a team, we see how many people are as manager, how many people are at director, how many people have points here. So every single week you're paying attention to, even the brand new person that just went exec is like, oh, okay, like now my next job is to focus on this.
I love that. So when people get to executive, they're like, I remember being like, phew, I have 10 consultants. This is awesome. And I remember Janie Elo saying to me, okay, take a breather, go add 2 more consultants on each side, because falling out it's an easy thing to do in the beginning. You're kind of holding it together with bubble gum and Scotch tape. So what do you tell people to stay active executive? Talk about that. Or to get back there. Maybe people are like, I was an executive and I'm down to 1 consultant. What do you say to those people?
So I would say we have about an 80% rate of staying paid as. And the reason for that is the conversation that we have as soon as they get up. We have that conversation with them of reality. Look, now that you hit it, you're probably going to fall out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the next 3 to 6 months to solidify it. You're not allowed to fall out. This is your only goal for the next 3 to 6 months, is do not fall out. Do whatever it takes to stay in, because for most people, their cycles are not high enough yet for them to be making the money in the cycles. So when I can show them, hey, like, this is $2,000 in income. And if they have a 10% match, and like some of us, they end up having like some people that it's actually giving them an extra cycle here or there, I show them their numbers and I'm like, your only goal is to replace these consultants, figure it out so that you're staying up. Now, sometimes we have people fall down for a week. The key to executive pools is you only have to be up for 3 of the weeks. So I always let people, I'm like, if you fall down for a week, that's okay. You got to get back up. And sometimes we'll have people who miss out on a month, but they know that in their minds, we're like, it's 6 months after you hit it to solidify it. So now we don't have guilt. We don't have shame. We don't have anybody feeling like they've done something wrong, right? We really understand that, but they also are focused on it and they understand the financial gain. And then I tell them, I'm like, if you focus on this, that when you're done doing this, you're going to be at 5 cycles a week. Because by the time you've replaced all those and you found your 10 consistent ones, you're going to be at a good residual income. And that's a really good spot to be in. And so that's what we really focus on for our people, is having that honest conversation. Like, hitting it is the starting point. And it's just about really focusing on it every single week and making sure you're replacing. And I'll be honest, there is some times of like, maybe you are finding a random customer to put into a spot because that person just didn't find their customer, but the pressure is on to go, then you have to go find customers. And then we get to have that honest conversation with our builders and say, hey, how annoyed are you that you're constantly having to find customers to put into other people's downlines? That's the problem with only selling the product. It's usually a conversation that they were talking too much about the product and not enough about the business. And that's where an aha moment happens for a lot of people of, okay, the reason I'm struggling with exec is because I'm not having enough business conversations. And if I do it with business conversations, usually we have women who don't even struggle to stay up because all the conversations were about the business in the first place.
I think there's a big thing with people bringing on customers first, a couple of things that you're saying. So when we were in the most massive growth that we've ever been in, and when we fall back into these times of unbelievable growth, executive is the standard. So we talk about executive, and you do this. Executive is your standard. And so if you're here and you say, hey, listen, I am in that category that Chelsea talked about, where it isn't just a matter of I would love to make more money. This is I require more income in my life. This is now a do or die. I'm prepared to burn the boats. Then executive is your standard. 10 people who know 2 people who eat or have skin. And you should be, not only should you live that in your business, but if I were you and you want to create something really special, you want everyone that you're talking to say 10 with 2. When we first started, I remember saying to Adrienne McGovern and to Denise Wiggins and to Barb Kernan, we need 10 people who know 2 people who eat or have skin, and then be like, oh my gosh, I've been in spin classes with more people than that. Like, that's not a hard thing to do. Do you know 10 people that would love to be healthy, wealthy, feel amazing, use cutting edge science products with a money back guarantee? Do you know 10 of them? Of course you do. Do they each know 2 people with skin or who eat? Of course they do. And so I think there's a key is the standard is executive. And I think the other thing that you're saying is that, and you're reminding me that we need to go back and strengthen this up in our entire team and across this company. But we also used to be amazing at teaching people that everyone who started, every customer that I've almost ever had 2 people. In fact, Janelle Graham, I don't know if she's on this call, but I remember her telling me she thought having 2 people was a requirement before she could order. It was such a standard. We had great languaging to tell people, hey, you're going to use these products and they work amazing. They work even better when they're free. Mm-hmm. And 67% better results occur for people because of accountability. Who will try this with you and hold you accountable because of the money back guarantee? You can try it with others, and your success and theirs will lift up by at least 67%. So those are the other things that I think, as you're talking about this, it's reminding me that if we get great at, like, my expectation is if you come on for a customer and you want to lean out right now, your husband and your best friend, your sister and your mom, your grandmom and your aunt, they want to try it with you for no risk. Use it for 30 days and get your money back. So that's another way to create an executiveship that lasts, is that every customer shares with 2 people. It's way easier. Like, every time I'm enrolling someone, I'm enrolling 3 people actually, rather than 1. I love tripling the efforts that I'm doing. And I think I want everyone to really remember that. So thank you for reminding me that we need to strengthen that up. In terms of what you see across this company right now and your vision, you just talk about that, because I'm holding you a little bit longer. If anybody has any quick questions, we want to just get Chelsea to answer, but rowing the boats in the same direction. I know you and I are on the exact same page. Will you talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, I believe I was given the gift of experience that most 20-somethings don't have, because I have parents that have been in this industry for 30 years. And so I have such unbelievable foresight that I shouldn't have. And so one of the things that I've always thought about is that when my parents were with Nu Skin, they built during Nu Skin's first wave. They went from like 300 million to $1 billion. Sound familiar? Similar to what Isagenix did back, in 2017. And then what happened is their company went through some legal issues. And so there was a huge falling out with the company, and my parents left. That company does $2 to $3 billion a year now. All right. It literally tripled, even though the company went backwards and all these things. And I think that sometimes in our businesses, it is very easy to get micro focused and to look too close to our own businesses to see what's happening. I have always known from the day that I started with Isagenix that this comp plan paired with this product, there is no other company, period.
Amen.
You can't compete. You just can't compete. There is no other company that wrote a compensation plan like ours. So yes, over the past 5 years, have other companies tried to say that they were better than us, tried to say this, this, and this, shiny penny syndrome? Absolutely. But what I knew is that come a shakeout, there is the opportunity for those who see the gold to come to the surface and to have such massive success with this company. And I see the path that we're on. We will be a $2, $3, $4, $5 billion company. I have literally no doubts about it. There is not anything in my soul that has ever even thought twice about that. And because of that, I actually have worked twice as hard, because just like in a recession, do you know that recessions make the most amount of millionaires? That's when people win. And right now we are on the precipice of a massive growth. I can feel it. You can see it in the numbers in the company. People are rank advancing, people are moving, people's numbers are moving. Like, it is already happening. But I also had the benefit, I'm going to say benefit because it didn't feel like a benefit at the time, of accidentally sitting out the last wave. I was 18 when I joined, and I just was like, oh, this is all well and good. It's just always going to be like this. People are just going to go million. We were going to announce 3 millionaires a week for forever. And I watched the Emily Fords and the Peta Kellys and the women who went from zero to millionaire, and like, it was like mind blowing. Right. But what I was able to watch was that it was those who were rowing the boats before the wave came. Because if you really think about surfing, and I've always thought about it this way, if you think about surfing, if you're sitting in the water when the wave comes, but you're not paddling, you'll get pushed up, but you'll just bob right back down to where you started. And there was a lot of people in our company that during the last wave, they were like, oh, this is great. This is dandy. Everything's great, but they didn't paddle. And so when the wave was over, they were just kind of like, oh, wait, where's my income? They didn't ride it to shore. Then there was other people that just didn't get in the water, right? So they were just, not benefiting. But the ones that were already paddling, like when you're surfing, you have to be paddling to catch the wave. Like, that's literally how surfing works. And that's what it's like in network marketing. Now, I will tell you this, you do not need a company to be in momentum for you to have success with network marketing, at least not in our compensation plan. Maybe in the ones that are very, 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 very difficult, you need to have that. I am proof that you don't need to have that, because I've built my business technically not during our momentum. I started at the end of it, and I've been building since then. All right. You don't have to. And I've had massive momentum in my business the last 2 years when the world has been going backwards. But when you do have momentum, it is so fun. And so for those of us that are here right now, and you have been doing the work, and you have been showing up, and you have been paddling, even if you feel like their paddles not are that aggressive, start picking up pace, because the wave that is coming in 2023, it's big. And what my mom has always told me is there's a difference between momentum and critical mass. It's the difference between going to 800 million and 2 billion. Critical mass is so fun. And I learned this at Babson with typical companies. Critical mass is when it goes from, oh yeah, I think I know that company, to a household name. Everyone knows what Amway is. Everyone knows what Mary Kay is. That will be Isagenix. We are on that path, and it's so exciting to be here now. It's so exciting. And one of the things that I also have really, really loved about this season of what the business has been, and anyone who's been here like for a while, there was a season where we all got so big that a lot of the leadership had to break apart to manage their own teams. That's just what happens. But if you were at the last event, there was a feeling of one team and camaraderie, and just like truly impactfully like collaboration. And it's so beautiful right now. Like, that's why we're working. That's why this event's happening at the end, where we're all doing a team party together. I don't think Isagenix we've ever done that before, at least not since I've been around. And that is such a beautiful time to be with this company, that I think that years from now, people, those of us that are here, will look back and be like, I am so grateful I was here during this time period, because it was beautiful.
Yes. So just piggybacking on what you're describing there, and I completely agree with you. I believe that no matter where you are in the world, Isagenix is still a relatively unknown quantity, but it stands on a foundation of a 20-year-old company with clinically studied products that actually work, and the greatest compensation plan and systems to grow. So you stand on this amazing foundation, but you literally have the clearest, most open runway to just go. And so if you're talking about people knowing about Amway and Mary Kay, can you imagine if 10 years ago, nobody knew about it, and you were the person who started spreading the word and evangelizing about those names, and then they take critical mass. So I just say to people right now, people are going to find out about Isagenix. It will become the worst kept secret. They're going to find out about someone. It should be from you. They're going to find out about it from someone. Why shouldn't it be from you? Your best friend, the dream ideal business partner, is going to find out about someone. I hope that it's from you. And so as we start paddling, and I love that concept, describe what you would be doing right now. If you were people on this call are like, I'm paddling, I'm in for the paddle. That's a beautiful analogy. What should you be doing?
So this is a great question, because I think that this is where the key is. I would be going out there and I would be telling people that I am launching a team. No matter how long I've been with this company, I'd be like, I'm launching a new team. I'm getting this started. We're doing this together, with or without you, and I want you on my team. And here's why. I always tell my new builders, if you were going to open a salon, would you open up their business and say, okay, day one, I'm going to go find customers to cut their hair? Or would you go out and get some hairdressers in your salon with a book of business and be like, okay, now let's all go get some customers? It would be that. That's what it would be. If you're going to open up a yoga studio, you would go find some instructors. You would not go start with just going to get the customers. And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that we make, especially if you're trying to create momentum in our business. It's like, I'm going to go get customers and then I'll find the people. Start by setting up your team. And there's two reasons for this. One, it goes faster. Imagine having 10 people finding 10, and then you have 100 versus you finding 10. And like, just mathematically, it goes faster. But two, this is the other thing. And I tell my team this all the time. I said, we are in the most beautiful compensation plan, where if you stack your team first and then you all get customers, you all share the 100 customers. But if you do me plus 10 customers plus a builder plus 10 customers plus a builder, you're diluting your customer base so that you're not actually all sharing it. So my biggest trick to creating momentum is I find somebody and I say, before we all go get customers, because there's no doubt about what we do here at Isagenix. We find customers, like that is the end goal of Isagenix. But before we do that, let's go put in place 10 team members. Let's stack them on one leg. Let's put them in place and let's start casting the vision of this team that we're creating for 2023. Let's start talking life into it and be like, in 2023, everyone's going to want to get in shape. That's going to be the time to sell the product. But December, this is the time to find people who want to make money. Do you know that the number one goal in the new year is not to lose weight? It's to make more money. So start talking about that and say, I'm putting a team together. We're stacking 10 people on top of each other, or 5, or whatever you feel comfortable with. And then we're all going to go get customers in the new year. And we're all going to share each other's customers, because it is so empowering and exciting to be casted the vision that you're going to join a team. You're going to be with other builders. You're all going to start together. And then in the new year, you're all going to put your customers on one side. And all of a sudden, you've removed a leg, because that leg has so much volume and so much people. And what we know to be true is 20% of people end up wanting to build a business. So if you end up enrolling 100 customers between the 10 of you, 20 of those are going to be business builders if you have the conversations with all of them. So that's my biggest thing, is right now, December is the perfect time to go start casting the vision of the team that you're creating for 2023, with the vision of, in 2023, we're going to be selling our 30-day or whatever you guys do on this team, you know, the collagen, right? Whatever it is you want to do, but put the team in place first and benefit from our comp plan, benefit from the fact that we are able to build in a way that no one else is able to do.
Yes. Like, and never before in my lifetime have people needed money in a way that they do. People want to prepay for Christmas. So they want to make sure that the credit card bills aren't lagging out there January, February, March that they're spending right now. And so you're absolutely right. It's just going through with that message of what we have hope and financial possibility, that we have this and that we build together. You're not on your own. You're not building a business without a blueprint. Here's a blueprint and this concept of driving the line. And so across this team, we do a lot of vision calls for people. If you have qualified people, so many vision calls are happening every single week. Opportunity calls are happening on a very regular basis. And so that's what I will just tell you is we're doing so much of the same things and we're in it for paddling with you. So Chelsea, thank you for everything that you shared. You spent even more time than I asked you to spend, and I appreciate you being so generous. I know you have a huge vision for this company and you will go down as just a legacy maker and just an impact, a change maker. And so I'm so grateful for you. I know everybody is so thankful. So thank you so much, everybody. Another great week ahead. Let's get this going. And December 15th, just a reminder, there is a major corporate call. Everyone is invited for some huge announcements. Chelsea alluded to them now. We're going to get ready to put even more money in your pocketbook, and the team that you're building the boats, getting paddling, and having the most epic 2023. Chelsea, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Have a great night, guys.